Howdy, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. It is 2 o'clock. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, coming at you as we do each and every single Tuesday to talk about all things building on your land. I am Eric Howard, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, joined as I am each and every week by the lovely, the marvelous, the magnificent Dawn Dantzler, Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience for Tilson Homes. Good afternoon, Dawn.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
It's awesome. It's going very, very good. We are covering one of my favorite subjects today, because in the on your land world, this is kind of what we get to do a little bit different. So we will talk about that in just a second. But in the meantime, first thing we want to do is welcome everyone. Again, we are live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Jump in to the chat. We want to know where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process that you are in. You know, we got some folks that are brand new to this whole idea. They even just now thought about building a house out somewhere else from where they are now. We got other folks that have already started the process. Maybe they haven't quite decided which plan they're doing, so go through kind of a customization discovery stage. And we have folks that are in process, they're under construction, or they've picked their colors, or they've done their site evaluation. And we have, of course, our customers who are done. They completed, they moved in, they get their family, they've had holidays there, they're hunting, they're fishing, they're playing. And right now they're probably moving mud around in a lot of places. So from last week, we've had beautiful weather though. We're getting things back on track. But folks, as always, jump in. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building, what part of the process you are in. We want to hear from each and every single one of you. While y'all do that, Dawn is going to tell us what in the world we're talking about that I'm so excited about today. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So we are going to talk about some of the most popular custom options. So changes that people make to our home plans. So when I started putting together the presentation, I was focusing mainly on the structural options, and I was like, you know what? There's some really cool things beyond structural options that I want to make sure everybody's aware of, that we sometimes hear, I wish I knew that, or can you do this? So I've included some of those materials as well. So usually when we talk about, when I say structural options, guys, I'm talking about actual changes to the floor plan itself. So moving walls around, making, big structural changes, but there's also some, options changes that you can make of changing out the materials or just adding a couple other bells and whistles that don't actually change the structure of the home, but can definitely change the way the home performs for you. So I've included a few of those in areas where they're usually most important to people. So
no doubt about it. Yeah, it's hard to think of everything, and same thing even for your sales consultant, your design consultant, to sit there and, if we were to print out the entirety of the price book, I don't know that it would fit on one of their desks. So
not at all.
They're forever and ever going through what could happen, what might happen. But this does help a lot with jogging of where you might be, what you might be interested in doing, that kind of thing. So, folks, again, as always, jump in. Tell us where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process you're in. And as we're going through the presentation, if that conjures up ideas, questions, comments, things like that, we want to hear from you. That's the whole point that we do this. So there's going to be things that we talk about in here that can be done on pretty much every plan. There'll be some things we talk about here that cannot be done on every single plan, but some variation of it could probably be done to the plan that you're looking at. The main thing we're going to do
is a lot of things that we don't talk about that we can do to all of our plans. So if you're curious, ask us. Yeah.
Ask us. Yeah. They're the only dumb questions are the ones that don't get asked. So please sit there and ask everything you want to know. And it could pertain to customization. We can talk about site preparation. We talk about finance, and we can talk about construction. Anything you guys want to talk about that's on your hearts or minds with respect to building a home on your land, let us know. So we can talk wells, septics, permits, driveways, customizations, again, mortgages, whatever you guys need to know, that's why we're here. So, Dawn, is anybody joining us?
Yes. We've got Misty. Hello from Mansfield, building the San Jacinto in Hood County.
Howdy,
Awesome.
Misty.
Hey,
Welcome
Misty.
back.
We've got Tessie watching from Folsom, California.
All
We
right.
have property in Center Point. Awesome.
Also, welcome back.
We've got Will saying hi from Klondike. Hey, Will. Good to
what's
see
up, buddy?
you. Let's see. Tessie is also saying, still doing our research. I'm interested in the Barton Springs. My husband wants the Wimberley. Oh, yes. Very good points at both of those houses. So
I'm impressed he gets a
either
vote.
way.
So good on you.
We've got Jorge saying howdy from Belgium. Just bought our lot at Republic Grand Ranch last week.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We've got Anna. Hi from Katie. We're planning to build and trying to decide between the Abilene and the Cisco floor plans. Ooh, two other really good ones.
Yeah.
Those are good. We've got Keita living in the Houston area, looking for land in the Tyler area.
I don't blame you. It'd be a great place to move to.
We got Miss Silcox watching from Tyler, building on Lake Fork. Aerobic system installed today. We are moving along fast. The finish line is in sight. That's awesome.
Great. Yeah, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again.
We've got Patty here, almost closing on our land, getting excited. Oh, that's awesome. Where are you building? Where's your land? Where's your land? We got Denise. Hi from Pearland. We're in the early planning stages for the Canyon D in Chapel Hill in Washington County. Awesome.
Beautiful.
We've got Michael coming in from Magnolia. Hey, Michael.
What's up, Mr. Mike?
We have got the Klobowskis watching from Houston, and we'll build in Hunt, Texas. Awesome.
Oh, very cool.
We've got Tim watching from Southern California, eventually building in Hamilton County.
You will love it there. Hamilton's an awesome place. Very
got a couple people fleeing California.
and Houston.
And Houston. Patty's land is in Huntsville. Awesome.
Oh, very cool. All right. Well, very nice, folks. So again, obviously, keep jumping in. Tell us where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process you're in. We want to hear from y'all. We're going to start covering some of these customizations that we can do. Again, this is not the only things that we can do. These are just some of the ones to get the ideas flowing. If you want to ask other questions or stuff you don't see, maybe you got questions about that, that's why we're here. So ask those questions, but keep dropping them in there. And of course, we start with the heart of the home. Dawn, why would we start with kitchens?
Because the kitchen is the most common thing that gets changed. It is really the area, like you said, it's the heart of the home, and it is the area that most people like to customize. So that is where we're going to start. It's also where you could spend a lot of money really quickly. But one of the most popular things for people, one of the most popular structural changes to make is to go with the alternate kitchen on our plans. This is available. We have an alternate kitchen layout for almost every single plan that has custom options already pre-designed. So I've pulled a couple. You see the one from the Angelina and the one from the Palo Duro. Commonly, what's going to happen in these options, and it does vary when I talk about these, they do vary, based on each individual plan. So kind of take a look. But in general, what you're going to see when you go with an alternate kitchen is you're going to get a larger kitchen. So we're going to add some square footage. If it's not already separated, you're going to see the cooktop separate from the oven and microwave. So you'd have a separate vent hood and a separate cooktop. Your oven and your microwave are going to go somewhere else. You're going to get, in many cases, a larger cooktop. So you're going to see more burners on that stove. And then you'll either see the island get larger or add an additional island, like what is happening in the Palo Duro, where we've got that second island that goes, in between the first, behind the first one. And then you frequently will get a larger pantry. So like I said, it'll vary a little bit across plans. So it's a good thing to check out if you're looking at a plan and you're like, hey, I wish the kitchen was just a little bit bigger, a little bit different. Check out the alternate kitchen options. And then I also wanted to preview, we've had a lot of people asking the past couple of weeks about the Palo Duro. The video was shot last week. We do have photography done on it as well. And this is that alternate kitchen. So this is the Palo Duro model in San Marcos. And you can see much larger kitchen. It's got the double islands happening. The microwave is actually in one of the islands. So that's a unique feature for us in our models. And that is something that you can do when you've got that separate vent hood happening and double ovens. So yeah, great. Then there are a bunch of other things that aren't necessarily structural, but that you can do to your kitchen just to personalize it. So some of the more common things that we see that a lot of people like to do are pot fillers are very popular. So showing that, as well as the different options for the farmhouse sink.
Yeah, I think we had a question. Tessa got a question about one of the alternate kitchens. I don't know for sure which one it was.
Can this alternate kitchen be added to the Wimberley?
So yeah, the Wimberley is probably one of the plans that does have the room to do it without adding any footage. I don't know that it would be quite the size of the one that's in this Polidoro. There is still room to move it out there. Yes, I'd want to double check with one of the sales consultants to be sure that there's room for the bar top, stools, and all that. In addition to the other, but yeah, it's one that easily lends itself because it's kind of the same thing, very similar to the Polidoro, and from the kitchen to the exterior wall of the family room, it's just wide open. So it's one of those that the kitchen, dining, family is all one large room. So it would not take a lot of modification to make that happen.
Awesome. All right. So one other thing, we don't see that often, but I like to mention it because I just think it's really cool. The glass rinser. This is good for all stages of your children's life, folks, because once they get past the baby bottles, we all know they get obsessed with whatever water bottle is cool. And I know, we all think we survived Hydro Flask. We got through it. But now we're in the Stanley era and we all think, okay, we're great. It's big cups. I hate to break it to you guys. The next one that's coming, it's called the Owala. And like the opening's only this big. So you want something like this to get those water bottles clean. So it's just a good thing to come in.
It's always something.
Always something. All right. And then there are also lots of options that you can do to your kitchen cabinet. So these are a good thing if it's something you're interested in doing to talk to your design consultant about. Here are just a few of the things that we can do. And those include pull-out trays. Pull-out trays are included with some of our kitchens, but they can be added into any of the others where they're not included. So just ask your consultant and they can tell you the details on that. Pull-out trash cans, same thing in some of our larger models, larger plans, those are included, and it's always something that you can add when you've got the counter space. A couple other cool things that Kentmore can do is the utensil pull-out drawer. So you can get all of that off of the counters, and underneath they have one of these arrangements too that has the knife block in it. So just lots of different things that you can do. And then also they offer pull-out spice racks among all the other things they do. And, they also have, I didn't pull pictures of them, but you can change out your cabinets for drawers instead if you prefer that. So lots of options of what you can do. In the upper cabinets, some of the popular things to do are doing glass doors instead of the solid doors. So if you've got some pretty stuff that you want to show off, this is a good way to do that without having to have a separate hutch and china cabinet. Appliance garages have gotten very popular if you just want to eliminate that visual clutter and get it all stowed away. We've actually seen these going into bathrooms now, like we did in our Angelina model, just to hide all of that stuff away. And then there's actually two options if you want your spaces up higher. They do a pull out option like you could do below, or you can also put it on the back of the door. So just lots of different things you can do.
Yeah, some of us taller chefs do like to have the things a little more at eye level to find them.
Yes.
But there's really only one thing I use as far as spices go. So I know exactly where it is at all times.
All right, awesome. And then there are several options for the decorator bent hood. So I just pulled two of them, but we have various designs that you can do in the wood, and then also various industrial kind of looking metal designs.
Yeah, and I know we'll get into it a little bit, but the lighting in kitchens is a whole other area.
Yes.
That you can go wild in. Do ask about that. So I know we got some more folks. Oh, let's get some of the other kitchens.
Yeah, and then your kitchen islands. There's also a variety of different details that you can do. So everything from the the X treatment on the end of what you're seeing here is our canyon island. We can do the decorative accents on the ends. We can do islands that have shelves on the ends. So lots of different things you can do to maximize space there. And then you have lots of choices in the finishes. So you can do, you can have the solid panel, you can have raised panel, you can change out the post, you can do all kinds of things here. So lots of options when you're looking at islands. Well, let's see, we've got quite a few questions coming in, so let me grab them. All right, we've got Lisa and Christian Sumner. I built in Bridlegate Ranch. Roof shingles went up this past week. Electric is going in. Awesome. Moving right along. We got Stephanie had our stakeout in Ellis County and now trying to get our 911 address. Any tips? We're getting a bit of a runaround.
Yeah, it can be. So Ellis County is one of those growing counties. So look, I certainly would reach back out to Lacey Moss there in Waco, your sales consultant. We can help you a little bit on that end. It is going to ultimately take you getting across the finish line, but it's Office of Emergency Management. You might even try the septic department. But it should be Office of Emergency Management there in Ellis County that handles that. Another place to ask, and kind of if you're getting a complete runaround, might be the appraisal district. That might be another place that can help you out, particularly this time of year. I think the last day in most counties to take money for property taxes is tomorrow. So if you didn't pay them last year to take advantage of on your 2023 taxes, you'll certainly want to have them paid by tomorrow. And they can sometimes help you with who to talk to on how to get that done, because they certainly are not going to have a problem collecting taxes for your property. So somebody will be glad to help you improve that property to make
Collect
it
more taxes in the future. Yeah. We got Will sharing enjoying the spring type weather. Awesome. Sure that's helping you out with your farm.
Yeah.
The animals. We got Christy saying Livingston just finished our stakeout. Awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool. We've got Kimberly watching from Georgetown, building in Matagorda County. The Refugio countertops were just installed and first interior paint done. Getting very excited. This has been a great experience. Awesome. Glad to hear that.
That's awesome.
We've got Veronica. I'm building the Angelina and Creedmoor. The design appointment is in 2 weeks. Awesome. Well, then you will have lots of things to talk about after attending this. We've got Catherine from San Marcos. Hey, Catherine.
What's up, Catherine? Welcome.
I got Kita. I know building code probably makes this a no, but if I have an electric range, can I put a window over it instead of a range hood? I would also want open shelving, not upper cabinets.
So I do believe we can still do downdraft cooktops. Your design consultant for your area could know for sure, but there is a way to do downdraft cooktops where it actually goes down instead of up over. So that might be an alternative. We still got to get it to go to the left or right. We got to get the air out of there somewhere. But yeah, downdraft might be an option. And then, yeah, you can absolutely do open shelving, not upper cabinets. And we actually have floating shelves made by the cabinet company, so by the same cabinet manufacturer, so they can either match or complement the cabinets you have in the rest of your kitchen.
Great. We've got Bruce saying, I'm in the final weeks of my build in New Braunfels. I was told that plugs are going to start being incorporated into pop-up plugs on the island and plugs not in the backsplash, but in the bottom of the upper cabinets. Are these optional going forward or something you have to do? I was told these are standard now, right after mine started. I'm happy with the old style plugs and plugs under cabinets, but was interested in seeing what they look like installed.
Yeah, so it would have been something that would definitely have been on the plans, Bruce. So they're just now kind of coming out in our start packages where we're doing the new way, the pop-ups. So as with all code adoptions, you have a little bit of a grace period because of situations just like you and thousands of others across America that were in construction when they changed the rules. So they understand that, the Code Council understands that. And so they don't expect people to go in and do physical demolition on homes and retrofit them back. But yeah, there will be a video of it in the Paladura one when it comes out. The videographer and I, he was enamored with the thing. So we spent some time on recording how it goes up and down, and they are cool. We're still going to be doing it on backsplashes. It's still going to be that's not changing. So the pop-ups are only going to be in islands. We're not going to. I don't see any reason why we would do them on a typical countertop when you can still do outlets either up high, underneath the cabinets or in the backsplash.
I think when he's talking about on the backsplashes that they're up there under the cabinet instead of in the wall.
Yeah, that's right. That's moving up. That actually was not a code thing. That was a design thing that we chose to change up a little bit, just because so many customers are doing some really elaborate and cool looking backsplashes. It's like, look, let's figure a way we're not cutting in the middle of these things and breaking up that pattern. So that was a design choice for us. But yeah, the code stuff, it's kind of in transition. So houses that start closing in probably the next 3 to 7 months will have the the new things adopted. We went and retrofitted it in the Palo Duro model so that because it was our newest one, we'd have some way to show it somewhere.
Mhm.
It didn't technically have to have it, but we did it so that we could show people. Great question.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Jorge's asking if we use the Easy Buy program, at what point should we start the VA loan process to finance the completion?
Okay. You'll start it whenever we'll do a pre-approval that way. And there are two ways to do the VA. And I'll give you my recommended peace of mind way because of our experience with the VA. And that particularly we're doing Easy Buy. I would allow the lender up front to go ahead and get you a conventional approval and a VA approval. It's not any more work for you. It's actually a little bit more work for them because the VA is the only one that works like this. So on a conventional, when the lender orders the appraisal and the appraiser goes out there with our plans and specifications up to your property and appraises what it would sell for today if it were built and sold. When that house is completed, the lender can call that appraiser up and say, hey, remember the one at 123 Buckshot Lane that we said we were building? Yep. Okay, cool. Well, it's done. I need you to go verify that they built what they said they're going to build. That person goes out, verifies it, all good. Well, in VA world, same thing happens up front. They send a VA out there to do a VA compliant appraisal, which takes a little bit longer. But then when it comes time, when it's finished and they call again, it goes back into a bank of appraisers. So a totally different person goes out there and gives their opinion of the value. Now, in our experience, they value it lower. I don't know why. That's not 100% of the time. Sometimes they value it about the same or sometimes a hair higher. But it seems that more often than not, the value drops, and it can drop significantly, $30,000, $50,000 we've seen, which is a bad experience for the homeowner, So it's nice to have that conventional loan as a backup. Okay, VA is a great deal in most cases, but not in all cases. And I know we have our veterans. It is an entitlement, and you should use it if you can, but you should use it if you can, and it's the best deal for you. It may not always be the best deal for you, and so that's just if someone suggests to you okay, we're going to do a VA appraisal, but we're also going to do a conventional appraisal, so we have kind of that backup. Don't freak out. It's not a bait and switch. It is an insurance policy
Right.
against that happening upon completion. That's a horrible time to find out something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. We've got Anna asking two questions. What zone is Waller County and what installation is the one required in that area? And also, can you make box windows, window seat, and how much is it approximately?
Okay, so it is climate zone 2 there, but we changed it where we're doing spray foam walls and attic everywhere, 100% of the homes that we build now. If when you contract at this point, so all that's required is, I believe all that's required is R13 in the walls, R30 in the attics. We were already doing R15 in the walls and R38 in the attics. And then we made the decision to go to 100% spray foam, which just tightens the house up a lot. We do a dehumidifier with them, obviously fresh air intake, all that kind of good stuff. So you're going to be getting spray foam with Tilson no matter where you build at this point. But you are climate zone 2. It has to test out to a maximum of 5 air changes per hour on the blower door test. You aren't going to be anywhere near there. It'll be sub 3, which is all that's required for climate zone 3 even. So you will be as energy efficient as a home built in North Texas. And then window seats. So I was, box windows. Here we go. Let's see. I had a box out. An existing double window, about $1,000. You're looking about $1,000 to box. So box window, for those who are watching, it doesn't move the living area of the house out at all. It's not a bay window. That's different. A bay window actually does slab, roof, like it moves up. We do those as well. A box window is really just cantilevered out, so the slab stays in place. We frame, the framer frames a portion out, usually 12 to 16 inches, something like that. It remains under the soffit. The soffit doesn't extend out, so it's truly just kind of place for the cat to sit, or maybe a reading nook or something like that. But
All right. We've got Jason asking, if I went with the Easy Buy program and at some point decided to just pay cash, is that possible, or would it be better to just make a few payments first?
Oh, it is always possible to pay cash, Jason. There was yeah, no, it's not a problem at all. We have a number of customers that do that. In fact, that some folks are going to retire before the end. Although, if you plan on getting your loan, do not retire before you close.
Hmm.
Please, please, please do yourself a favor. Don't do that. Some folks sell an existing home, and they, maybe they were going to try and qualify with both, and they could qualify with both, and they decided before it finished that someone made them a crazy offer, and they sold it. They turned around and paid cash. So we have a number of customers that switch to cash during the process. So yeah, it's totally possible and not a problem. And there's no real advantage to making the few payments first or anything like that. I think it's if you're going to close on a loan with the lender, I'd go ahead and go to the closing and then I'd probably make at least two payments and then maybe worry about paying, just because it'll take that long to get all the paperwork to record and everything like that. Sometimes you're 6 to 8 weeks at the county from when the title company sends something over there to when it actually gets recorded and then it gets sent back. And so you wouldn't want to have your cash payment offset like some kind of vendor's lien that hits before the lender's lien hits, and then it could get a little worried. So I would give a little bit of seasoning timing on that.
Makes sense.
And he says he's retired before he starts the bill, by the way. So
Okay. Silk Cox is saying she loves farmhouse sinks so much her Fayetteville C has two of them.
oh, nice.
Awesome. Wow. We got Kathy asking, are the different style ends of the cabinets able to be added on the end of the eat-in counter in the Tampico?
Yes. Yeah, you can do it. So any of the base cabinets, you can do some type of end treatment on those.
All right, awesome. Christian is asking about your empty guitar hook behind you. He wants to know what goes there and when do we get a Tilson Tuesday unplugged?
It will be at the current practicing rate. It will be years from now before I subject anyone to that. But it's a little Taylor acoustic guitar. Part of this because that's my daughter's name. So, but it's at the house presently because it gets practiced there more than it gets practiced here. It can be a distraction in the office. We got to be careful about that. I got a job, Christian. I got a full-time job. We got people watch this thing, and so I can't be up here just playing guitar on the couch or something like that. So anyway, yeah, it does get practiced more over there than it does here, and so it's kind of been over there since we had the really inclement weather. I don't like to move it around back and forth when the weather's nasty. So anyway, yeah, that's my excuse of why I'm not here practicing it. Thanks, Christian. Thanks for accountability check. I appreciate that. I need it. All the help I can get.
All right. We've got Denise asking, can you add under counter lighting?
Totally. Absolutely.
All right. We've got Brian saying, watching from Fort Worth, building here as well. Have my lot as well. Awesome.
Oh, nice. Brian, you're
And
ready to go.
You are all ready. Let's go. Where's your contract? Let's go.
Send it through YouTube.
Denise is asking, at what point in the Easy Buy program do you need to be at your 10% equity?
Great question. Okay, so the preferred timing is prior to the start of construction. So you'd be the 10% equity prior to when we start construction. Does not necessarily mean prior to when you can start the paperwork process, because as we talked about before, you got at least 3 to 4 months, typically 4 months or so of paperwork, design, permitting, septic designs, color selections, engineering, soil testing, site evaluation. All that's happening over about a 4-month period. So you can be putting the equity in at that point. Even if you don't have the equity at the time, ready to start construction, on a case-by-case basis, we will have been known to take what's called an equity deposit. So let's say that you are, you're at 93% loan to value, which would mean you have 7% equity, but you need to be at 10% equity or 90% loan to value. So there have been some cases where you write a check to Tilson and we hold it as a deposit. So we hold that money and then we release that to you either as you get closer to the completion. Maybe you're going to use that for a septic system or something like that, or closing cost or whatever. We release it then. Or if you don't use it all the way to the end, we just literally credit it back to you on the HUD-1, the settlement statement. We can release it back to you then, just like we do the deposit. The initial $3,000 deposit we require is non-refundable unless you build the house. So as long as you build the house all the way through with us, that goes towards the price of the home. So same thing there. So that's how that works.
All right. We got Miss Klobowski asking, can you add a sink to the laundry room?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got Heather saying, hey guys, I'm building in Williamson County and it's going up so fast, but I've been amazed how detailed the contractors have been. I'm so
Great.
excited. Oh, thank
Thanks
you
for
for
sharing
sharing.
that.
That's great. We've got Talon checking in from the San Marcos
What's
office.
up,
Hey,
Talon?
Talon. We got Mark asking concerning decorative dormers. Are they framed on top of roof rafters or tied to the top plate? How are dormers treated with the spray foam system since they could be a leak source?
Okay, so it depends on the size of the dormer, Mark. It actually, in some cases, depends on the framer. Some do frame it on top of the decking already complete. Some frame it open and you can see it from the attic. You can access it from the attic. As long as it's done correctly and flashed properly, and we have details for both of those, how to flash them and deck them correctly, it doesn't make any difference. Code-wise, you can frame it on top of the decking or you can frame it as part of the rafter have it tied in. They're designed to carry the load and the load below is designed to carry that as well. The load is transferred to either the top plate or the nearest load-bearing wall. There, and we have, of course, all the codes and design details for that. And plus, we also 3D frame all of our homes before it goes to construction. So that's kind of determined there. And they are, if they are part of the attic, they will be spray foamed. But if they are framed where they're just sitting on top of the decking, then they're not spray foamed. Again, they would be flashed properly. That flashing is inspected not only by your building superintendent, but by a third-party inspector. So,
okay.
Great question.
Brian is sharing. I'll be having a second chat, first in-person chat with your team at the Weatherford showroom soon. Awesome, cool.
Good.
Anna is asking, is there a big difference in price from stepped ceiling and slanted ceiling?
Not a huge difference. It only will start to come in as if you start to put. We have a lot of people when they do that step ceiling, they put some wood beam detail treatments in there, and in those cases, that's going to be more obviously. But otherwise, it's not. There's not a huge difference between the step ceiling and a slanted or cathedral ceiling. So, and again, once you start adding in the see the wood treatments of some sort, that's when the pricing goes different. And some people still do those even on, and when you're saying a slant ceiling, I'm assuming you mean a cathedral ceiling. So if that's not the case, ask it again. But a cathedral ceiling is more if we're talking cathedral ceiling. So slant, if you're from a slant goes up and then it's flat, that's about the same as a pop-up. If it's cathedral, that's going to be more than a pop-up or step-up ceiling.
Makes sense. All right, they're asking, well, since you can do a sink in the utility, can you do a pet washing tub / sink? Yeah, we can. We've done pet showers too. So little short showers. But yeah, we can do that as long as there's room in there. We got Catherine asking, can you put the sink and stove somewhere other than the island on all plans?
Of course. Yeah, mine's on an exterior wall in my house. My sink and my stove both are on side walls. So I'm with you. I agree.
All right, we got Will saying, got to go fix the pig waterer. You all are in very good hands with Tilson. Kelsey, David, Dawn, and Eric are awesome and have tons of knowledge. Y'all have a safe and blessed week. Oh, thank you, Will.
That man has a lot of work to do. He's always working.
Yes, absolutely. Jason is sharing the cathedral in Tampico with the beam is $1,000, and that's a bargain to me. I agree.
Yep.
Brian is asking, what's the difference between step versus slanted versus pop-up?
Yeah, so we probably that's a great segue maybe to the family rooms.
It is a good segue. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. One of the most popular changes that are made to family rooms and master suites are changing up those ceilings. So let's take a look at that. So the first option you're going to see for us is what we call a box beam ceiling. And that is where we are actually putting beams most of the time with wood wrapped around them in some type of pattern on your ceiling. So this is the box beam ceiling in the Canyon. And
it's just a flat ceiling in this particular case. So
it's a flat ceiling here. And that's usually when you see our option and it says box beam, this is what it's talking about, this type of ceiling. Just the flat ceiling where we add the beams. A cathedral ceiling is, it goes to the peak. So not sure if that's what they were talking about with the slanted. And these come in several different variations. The most common one that we see our customers do is what's being shown here with the LaSalle, which is doing it in the living room and taking it all the way out onto that rear porch. That's just very popular. And the beam arrangement here it varies by plan, and it varies with what you can do with it. So sometimes it's going to be a center beam. Sometimes you're going to have those cross beams. You can also have the option to run beams underneath for extra detail. Just a lot of things you can do with this treatment. The other types of ceilings that we have are the stepped ceiling, like we were talking before. The one on the left is our Fredericksburg model in Katy, which has a multi-step ceiling. So the different options there. So it's just, you've got just different levels of ceiling is what a stepped ceiling is. All of which, once you do your little bump, they're flat in there. And then a sloped ceiling, when we are talking about that, it's the actual ceiling is going to slope to a higher point where it would then be flat across the top. So that's when you see us talking about those options. That's what we typically mean. And this is the master bedroom from the Fayetteville model.
Yeah, and so the reason these two here, folks, cost less than this one is because in these two examples, the exterior plate height, so the size of the wall outside, the stud size on the outside, stays the same. That doesn't get any taller. On a cathedral ceiling, obviously, that's a different ballgame, right? The studs, they are longer, they're taller. There's more labor to that, a little more waste to that, but it's a different effect too. So this would be your least expensive. This would be your middle of the road. Although once you do a double or triple like this, it does get pretty close to what this one would end up costing. So that you can kind of gauge it that way. And your sales consultants all have this priced by the square footage of the room area. That's how they're charged. So it's a very easy one to calculate for them, and they can help you out with what the different options are. But it's almost like Don's out here planting questions with the crowd. Okay, like they're throwing, change ups here, hanging curveballs. Too easy.
And this, like I mentioned, one of the most popular things with the family room is doing that extended rear porch. So here are two different versions from our homes out in the wild. So on the left-hand side is our LaSalle model, and the right is the new Polidoro in San Marcos. But both of them have that gorgeous treatment. You'll also see it at the Barton Springs. It's very, very popular, very popular. One of the next things everybody loves to do is a fireplace, and there are limitless options to the fireplace. So this is actually one of the few custom options that my online sales council team, the new home specialist, will tell you I cannot price that because there are too many variables. So this is one you're going to definitely want to have a conversation with a design consultant, because you've got the type of fireplace, the size of fireplace. So did you want a wood burning? Did you want a gas fireplace? Did you want an electric? All of those are different variables. The sizes within each one is a variable. And then how do you want to surround that fireplace? So you've got all the different treatments. You can have a raised hearth, you can have a flat hearth. If it's electric fireplace, you could have no hearth. And how high do you want to take? If you're doing masonry, how high do you want to take it? What materials do you want? How do you want to do your mantle? Just so many options to personalize your home when you're doing this.
Agreed.
All the things. You can pick all the things.
Nothing to add.
All right. Well, we do still have questions coming in. So
fire them up. And folks, keep dropping your questions in. Dawn's going to be here all day answering them.
Denise is asking, what is the standard size on baseboards and door trim?
Great question. Okay. So you're looking at 3.5-inch baseboard and 2.5 inch, or like 2 5/8 inch door casing. And that's in a colonial finish. And then you can step up from there to a 5-inch base and a 3.5-inch casing in a colonial, or also a 5-inch, really it's 5.5-inch base and a 3.5-inch wide, 1x6 or 1x4 in a craftsman style. So this kind of the straight square on the side, square forward sides type of trim. Great question.
Okay, awesome. And James was saying, I was about to say slant cathedral is definitely more. Yeah, if you mean cathedral when you're talking about slant ceiling, it is more. Will is sharing farm and homesteading always has something to do. Yes, it does. And Tessie was asking if step ceiling is an extra cost. Yes, it is included in some. So like the Fredericksburg that we were showing, that is included in that master. But yes, if you are adding it in, it is an extra cost. Let's see. Heather is saying I doubled the extended rear porch and it's so pretty. Oh yeah, that would be nice. We got Becky. Do different parts of Texas have different paint colors you can choose from? I was told Roycroft Adobe may not be available in North Texas. Did I understand that correctly?
I've not heard about that from a paint color perspective. That is
Yeah.
definitely the case with stone and brick. So
Mhm.
it does get that way with stone and brick. I don't know that that's the case with. I have not heard that from Sherwin-Williams, but I haven't talked to anyone from Sherwin-Williams, this week. So I don't know if I don't know that to be the case, but I would certainly ask your sales consultant to inquire with Justin Rich and our cost management team. They can find that out for sure.
Mhm.
Or with Zach Shell, he's our director of vendor management. We can find that out.
Yeah.
It's like I'm dropping all these names, so maybe they'll ask those people questions. These are real people. They really work for Tilson. They work
They
hard.
do, yes.
Yep.
Christian is saying, I don't know how people crane their necks to see their TVs above their fireplaces. Lowrider TV gang for me. I think the secret, Christian, is you have to have a really, really big living room and you just put the couch far, far away.
No way,
That's
man.
the only way
Christian,
you can do
all about the recliner, bud. You're like this.
it.
All about the recliner. My family was like, "Why do you even start a movie? You are snoring within 13 minutes." I'm like, that's it. It's like white noise. It's like white noise.
Jason's agreeing. He likes a low TV. Will is saying, y'all are very welcome. I usually still learn stuff from y'all and I enjoy watching. You're very nice people and I enjoy getting to share with you. And if you have customers with questions, I enjoy trying to help there as well. Oh, thank you.
He's been out a while, y'all.
Yeah. We got Tessie. What are the outlets in comparison to the baseboards? Where are
They
the
are
outlets? Sorry.
above them. Yeah, they're above them a little bit. I'm looking at my office like, they're kind of like this. They're not quite this high. I did this on purpose. So they're usually about within a foot of the baseboard. The only time where that might vary a little bit, Tessie, is where there's baseboard and there's really, really tall windows. We may have to adjust them there because the windows have a window stool and then they have trim below the window and then you have a baseboard. So in some cases, I see we had to turn the outlet sideways instead of long ways so that it will fit, or we have to move those outlets kind of to the left or right, between windows. But for the most part, they're down low. They're 12 to 18 inches off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I think switches and stuff are like 42 or 43 inches. I'm looking around.
Unless you want them to be higher for like those TVs that were above the fireplaces or things like that, we can raise them up. Meredith is asking, what would the rough cost of a bonus room in a San Jacinto cost versus a plan like the Gonzalez?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
I'll have to get my the pricer that I thought I had, but I know you've.
Steve is sharing that he did the same thing Heather did and doubled the size of his extended porch and is actually having it screened in. Awesome.
Nice.
It's gonna be a nice space.
Yeah, mosquito free.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we were talking about one like the San Jacinto. We said. I'm assuming.
Yeah, San Jacinto versus the Gonzalez.
That's going to be significantly different. I'm trying to remember if we even have a bonus room option. Yeah, we do. Okay, so you're about 65,000 on the bonus room for a San Jacinto. That's just under 600 square feet. And then on the Gonzalez, and again, it's going to vary a little bit depending on where you're building, but this will get you in the ballpark. I'm doing San Jacinto C and Gonzalez C just so I can get it as close to apples and apples as possible. And yeah, I don't know that we have a bonus room option, like custom option for the Gonzalez.
Yeah, we don't have one pre-designed on the Gonzalez.
So, it's going to take a little bit more engineering on that because we're going to have to find a place to put stairs in the Gonzalez. That's why there's not, see mostly the larger homes, 22, 2,300 square foot and up that have the bonus room options available because you got to find a place for a staircase.
Okay. Brian is asking, what are the least expensive options for exterior surfaces that need to be masonry based to satisfy local code?
Brick is probably your least expensive. Brick is your least expensive, and then stone would be next one on top of that, and stucco typically is going to be the most expensive. Most places will consider stucco a masonry exterior. I would check or let us check your deed restrictions though, because sometimes we have seen some. Typically in the hill country, that's the only place is they specify they want stone or rock. Mm-hmm. They want masonry and they want rock. They do not want brick. But most of them don't specify that. Most of them either brick, stone, or stucco in that order. Yeah.
Okay. Anna is asking, can we choose satin finish on the interior walls?
I think we quit doing that. I need to double check for sure. We did that. We allowed that for not satin. We did eggshell,
Eggshell.
um,
Yeah.
and it doesn't touch up as well as flat. So I would let your sales consultant double check on that because there was a time where we quit doing that for a while because the touch up was not going well.
Okay.
But if we can, we will.
Jason is asking, can I use the dirt from my property to build the pad? I'm likely having a pond dug at some point anyway.
Yeah, and Jason, forgive me, I don't remember exactly. I know you've told us before where you're building. There are some places where that's kind of the norm to do that, but um, I would say potentially, but do let us take a look at it first. Don't just start pulling dirt out of the pond and piling it up. Um, that it does work in some cases. It does not work in all cases. We'd want to get in Angelina County.
Angelina County.
Most likely, you're going to be okay to do that. Yeah, Lufkin, that area. It's most likely not going to be a problem, but even still, I'd want to let our site evaluator take a look at that and see, because it may be a lot more. It depends on how far they're having to move it. A lot of dirt contractors, they don't necessarily have a dump truck on site. So for instance, would be like if you're just building the pad there and you've got the site where the house is going to be, and let's say maybe it has all-weather access going to it, it's a construction drive, it's easy to get those trucks in and out of there. Where the pond's being dug, let's say you've got maybe a D6 dozer and a 300 series excavator, the big thing with the arm and the scoop bucket thing on it. That's a technical term, but 300 series excavator is what it's commonly known as. It's not always going to be optimal to have a loaded 30 or 40,000 pound dump truck running back and forth between those two sites. It's going to get stuck. And I can speak from personal experience that that's not always in the brochure. So it would depend on how far they're having to haul it, and if make sure that we've got a dirt contractor that's got the equipment and the dedicated driver that can just sit, because what you need is somebody in the excavator, somebody in the dozer pushing up the material, somebody in the excavator scooping it up and putting it into the dump truck, and then the dump truck hauling it back and forth from the pond site to the house site, and making sure you have enough. We have seen some where they pull all the material out of the pond and it looks like a whole bunch, but once you start layering it out, because it has to be minimum 5 feet bigger than the home at the top of the pad, which means it's going to taper down on the sides, right? It's like a trapezoid, a pyramid with the top pointy part cut off of it. That top of it has to be 5 feet bigger than the house footprint all the way around. So the dirt adds up quick, and we've seen some that they didn't have enough dirt to get it done, and they ended up having to haul more dirt in. So, but it's good news. It can all be calculated. It's volume. So we all learned a long time ago, lean times width times height. We can figure this out, and it can be calculated, and we can know how many cubic yards you're going to need.
Yeah, he says he understands the ground is clay, but it would be my luck that it would drop 10 inches of rain during the dig.
That's what happened to the kid. And we devoted not a small amount of time to hauling dump trucks out with chains and dozers, which you're paying just as much for that hourly as you are for them digging dirt. So not getting a lot of dirt digging done when the equipment's stuck in the mud.
Yeah. And Brian is saying he was the one asking about masonry. He doesn't have deed restrictions. He just wants masonry on the exterior. Was thinking about hardy board. How does that compare to brick cost wise?
Well, hardy's definitely less expensive than brick. And in my opinion, it is a masonry. It is cement fiberboard. I mean, it checks the masonry box.
For most insurances, it is.
You're going to have a very difficult time catching it on fire.
Yeah.
So, but I can tell you, most places they do not recognize, most subdivisions, when you see it in a deed restriction from an architectural control committee or property owners association or restrictive covenants, they are typically meaning brick or stone or stucco. That has been our experience. Now that I have seen exceptions and I've seen variances where you ask them and they're like, yeah, no problem. Because I mean, the board and bat is so popular right now that it has put a lot of pressure on property owner associations of like, look, that's the look I want. The brick is definitely more expensive up front. I will tell you, at some point in the future, you will have to paint the hardy, which you will never have to do with brick unless you just decide you want to. But the brick or stone, you're not going to ever have to paint that. So,
okay, makes sense. Denise is asking, is the pad work included in your home cost if you only need some scraping and leveling?
So yeah, it depends on where you're building, Denise. It varies by county. That is one of those very county specific items. And it's a certain amount of drop or out of level or slope, whatever you want to call it, on the footprint of the home. And then in different regions of the state, we do include actual like pad allowances. Again, it varies. So obviously the amount of dirt work, excavation, leveling, whatever in, let's say, Aransas County down the coast, Rockport area, there's a whole lot less calculated in that than there is Llano, right? Or Mason, where you could get into a 6, 7, 8 foot out of level in a hurry. So that is very, very county specific, and a design consultant can walk you through exactly what's included.
Okay. And Jason is asking if we know the footprint of the Tampico. We are wanting to kind of lay the house out to get a visual of where our home, shop, and drive would be. I have pulled up the C. Perfect. And it is 56 feet, 10 inches wide by 41 feet, 6 inches deep.
So let's call it 57 by 42. And when you're looking at the top of that pad, that's 67 by 52 on the top of the pad. That'll give you 5 feet bigger all the way around. 67 by 52, top of the pad, not an inch smaller.
What he said. Brian says,
I went to Harvard on the prizes. We just add 10 feet.
Brian says, thanks for answering about the masonry. I'm lucky because my subdivision does not have HOA or deed restrictions. Only have to navigate the city's requirements for construction.
Oh. Then if it's a city, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be brick. I don't know which city it is, but I'm thinking Midlothian, Mansfield, some of those areas. This sounds like a very North Texas thing. And in our experience, Waxahachie is another one. In our experience, they are dropping the righteous hammer on brick, but it is certainly worth an ask.
Yeah. Just in our experience, the only people who actually consider hardy masonry is your insurance company, because it won't burn. And Denise is saying she's in Washington County and she has a pretty level site.
Well, you'll be the only one in Washington County with a level site.
We've got David here in Maico.
What's up, David? All right, folks, keep dropping your questions in. These are great questions. We're going to press on here to the bathrooms for the sake of time and folks that may have other things to do. We don't have a life. This is what we do. So if you got questions, drop it into the chat.
We just sit here in front of the cameras when y'all aren't here waiting for next week.
We actually do. So anyway, drop your questions in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to go through bathrooms because apparently that's a place where people spend more time than I thought. Who knew?
Yes. And there are a lot of changes that are made in the master bathrooms specifically. Most of our plans are going to have many options. We've talked before that we kind of have people that master bathroom tends to be a 50-50. Do you want a tub or do you want a shower? Do you just want a shower? So we've kind of designed our master suites accordingly. They're actually there's the third option. You can have the combo that is both. So you could have the tub shower combo. You could have just a tub. You could have just a shower. You could have them both. So all of our masters are a mix of those elements. And because of that, we generally have a custom option to make it the other ways that you want. So you could see separating out the shower and the tub is one of the things that happens. You could see the addition of a walk-in shower with a separate tub, or just a walk-in shower by itself, or a bigger walk-in shower are options. Making a large soaking tub is another option that you'll see in our bathrooms. Freestanding tubs are very popular. We have started introducing full wet rooms. So that is where you have the freestanding tub in the same kind of room area, enclosed within the shower. And I've got pictures of that because we did it in the Polidoro model. And then you'll also see some changes that happen in the master closet when we're doing all of that, because that's usually, if we need some space, that's where we steal it from. That's where we get you more if we took something out. So those are the kinds of things that you're going to see changing. I've just pulled a couple of the alternate masters that you would see in our models. The reigning champions of what everybody wants. Current reigning champion is this LaSalle bathroom. We have fit this into all size plans that we have. Everybody has kind of wanted to figure out how to do that. So that is the freestanding tub in front of the shower. You've got that wall of tile. You've got the glass that goes in between the two, and just beautiful, beautiful bathroom. Very popular.
It's first class.
I think the next one that's gonna give it a run for its money is the next slide. This is the bathroom from the Polidoro. So this is what I mean, folks, when I'm talking about a wet room, is that you actually have that wall of like shower glass that closes everything off, and you've got the freestanding tub within the space with the shower. So it's either in front, or in this case, it's behind, so that you're in front of that lovely window. looking out on everything. But this is the Polidoro.
Yeah,
And
definitely
this is
spa.
master bath option 2 because
Spa inspired. Certainly spa
yeah,
inspired.
very much a spa experience in your master. So those are the changes that we see most frequently. With your secondary bathrooms, the most common change is to turn it into a Jack and Jill. As we talked a lot, kids sometimes sharing not their strong suit. So this is the way to give them all their own vanity space, separate from the other pieces of the bathroom that they're fully equipped to share. It's fine to share, but I need my own sink. We cannot share when I'm brushing my teeth or doing my hair or whatever.
Same.
Don't need her touching my face wash, Mom.
Right.
Oh, that's all right. And the last one that we see most commonly are garages. Everybody, well, not everybody. A lot of people like to have their separate garages, or they already have the barn like Eric has. They don't need an attached garage, but we do have a lot of attached garages for our plans. Usually at least 3 options are pre-designed for you. The reigning champion on number of garage options pre-designed is the Barton Springs. It has 5 options. Here they all are for you. But generally what you're going to see is at least a front load garage, a side load garage, and then there's usually some type of alternate placement on the home. With the Barton Springs, we actually have the 2-car garage, the 2.5-car garage, side loading. We have flipping it to the other side. We have front load. We have moved the garage doors around. Then we have shove it all the way on the other side of the home. So several options.
And you have detached.
Pre-designed. Yeah, and you have detached. That's always an option.
With a breezeway, without a breezeway, with a porte-cochere.
Yep.
Whatever.
Endless things to do, but there are always some options pre-designed if you're looking for that attached plan. We have attached garage. We have planned out where's the best place to bring it into the space to kind of give you a guidance on that.
Yeah, and we get mixed feedback on that, but truly we don't want where we decide to locate a garage to turn you off to a floor plan. We can pretty much put a garage almost anywhere on most of our plans. And so as you're scrolling, I used to say flipping through plans. 1986 called Eric, they like their flip book back. If you're scrolling through plans and we've seen people, I mean, when I was selling houses, I remember people flipping through and saying, I don't like what the garage is. What's the next plan? Like, whoa. That's easy. Like, we can put a garage anywhere. So that's why we don't just have them plastered on there, because you've seen one garage, you've seen them all. Okay, garage is a garage is a garage. So
and honestly, what surprises a lot of people, and I have the advantage of having the numbers from drafting because I've been working on them with stuff. Less than half of our homes are built with a garage. That's right. So most of our customers are choosing not to have a garage at all. They've got some other solution. So that's why we don't. Another reason why we don't include them.
My stuff in my space. That's why. Garage. Other people's stuff spills into my space. It's a problem.
That's fair. If it's attached, everything's
yeah, it's community. That's not gonna work.
That's where everything goes. I don't want to look at anymore. It's where all my boxes. That's where all my Amazon boxes are. Just
yes.
In you go.
We have a job for that too. That's my son's job. It's the 55-gallon drum. He has a job. We recycle them.
That's
with
fair.
Fire.
And this is the Barton Springs in Georgetown, showing what that garage looks like out in the wild. A common thing that comes when people do add garages, or just because they like to add a drop zone. So there's several options, some that are pre-designed on the custom plan, on the plans themselves, and then you're also, whenever you have a hallway, it's easy to add one of these in, and lots of different options through Kent Moore. Of how you want to do that, how you want to do the bench. I unfortunately did not pull a picture, but you also have the option of making that bench out of the, whatever materials your countertop is. So it could be granite or quartz if you like, but all kinds of options that you have there.
Yeah, I actually can't tell you what material our drop zone bench is because it's been covered since the day after our walkthrough. Couldn't tell you. No idea what it looks like.
That's it.
I don't know what it would look like without bags and boxes and shoes on top of it. I don't.
Cushions and pillows and yeah.
Pillows. Yeah.
Somebody does it. See.
I know.
All right. And so that just leaves us for the questions. So let me go find out where we were.
There was questions about kitchen.
Steve is saying he loves that LaSalle bathroom so much he put it in our Angelina build. See, we have put it in almost every house, guys. Tessie is asking, can this bathroom be added to the Barton Springs and the Wimberley?
And I think it was actually the one we had up. That was the Barton Springs, and we had it up there. So for sure. And on the Wimberley, yeah, the Wimberley does have an option. I think the model, the way we have it built, is only with a shower, but it definitely does have an option where we can put a tub in it as well. So, but it was before. Tessie, if you want to know about the LaSalle one, we would need to add footage for that. But I don't think we have the LaSalle one pulled up yet when you asked this question. So I was trying to get a timing wise on when that was asked. So.
All right. David is saying, planning on building around summertime in San Saba County, working with Karen. Very satisfied with her. Awesome.
That was awesome. Love it. Except the Whataburger that ran out of french fries that one time.
Got Regina asking, can you get this with any floor plan? I'm not sure what we were. Regina, if you could clarify for me, unless Eric caught it as it was going up.
So I think we were talking about either the wet room in the freestanding tub or this one. And so in either of these cases, we would need to add footage to most of our plans.
Right.
Including even the LaSalle. So when you add this to the LaSalle plan, it actually adds like 75 square feet of living area. So the price the wet room. Okay. Thank you, Regina. Thanks for doing that. So
thank you.
Yeah. Again, we would probably need to add footage to any plan to do this in, but I believe footage is added to the Paladero to do this one as well. So, but yes,
yeah,
you can add the footage and do it. And it can be done on any plan.
And it's pre-designed for the Paladero, the Fredericksburg, and the Barton Springs.
There you go.
And then we can figure it out for the other ones. We're very creative.
Oh yeah, drafting loves to do that.
Talon wants to make sure that everybody knows that the Paladero is at San Marcos, and he would be happy to walk anybody through it who wants to come see it. So go visit Talon, and he can take you through that gorgeous model. Jason is sharing that he enjoys our carports, that our carports are very nice. Yes, they are. Heather says she is building the Barton Springs. Yes, it is a very nice house. One of my favorites. Jason is asking, do you guys add grass to the yards once the build is complete, or is that on me?
Great question, Jason. So there are some areas where we are required to do it in some municipalities, and we have some places where some subdivisions where we do it because it has to be included a landscaping package. But predominantly speaking, the price we're looking at on the website does not include any type of grass or landscaping. So that would be on the customer to do upon completion. Great question.
Becky's asking, can you get a 3-car garage on most of the plans, or are there specific ones only?
Yeah, almost any floor plan you can do a 3-car garage. The only ones where it could get a little tricky is if you're trying to only do a front load. So you could get kind of wide in a case like that. Not to say that we couldn't do it. We just want to make sure they'll still fit on your property just fine, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, perfect. Anna is asking, is it possible to have stained concrete on both porches?
Okay, so we see stained concrete inside a lot. We don't see it a whole lot on the outside because it doesn't weather uniformly. Because some of it will get wetter than others because the whole thing is covered, but wind blown rain, all that kind of stuff. So I'd kind of want to defer to maybe just one of our construction guys on that. I know we've done stamped concrete before, but yeah, I think we can do stained concrete on porches. I just want to be sure on the area that we're doing that we have a installer that is comfortable doing that. We've done it before. I just didn't want to say it was a statewide universal thing that we got a contractor who does that all over the place. So case by case.
All right, wonderful. And that is the last question I see.
Piece of cake. Guys, thank y'all so much for watching. This was a great one. Lots of questions.
Lots of questions.
Thank you, Dawn, for putting it together. This is lovely. This was awesome. Thank you, Internet, for holding out and making sure that everything was still going. But yeah, folks, obviously the quest doesn't have to end here, right? We are here to answer your questions each and every week, of course, except for next week. But each and every week, besides that, we are. But Dawn we'll both be traveling, I guess.
Yes.
And so, but good news, we have a whole lot of people that are just as qualified, probably more so, to answer your question, Dawn being the exception. Open 7 days a week. Here's the website. Here's a number right here to get a hold of a new home specialist. You can call them anytime you want to talk high-level questions, get appointments, directions to model homes, what models do this and that. Obviously, we got the design centers open 7 days a week with models to tour, as Talon was saying. So we'd love to have you out there. That's why we built them, was for you. We're not vain. Okay, we don't need to know what these things look like. We're aware, but they're for you. So come check them out. That's why we built them. Hey, thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
We wouldn't do this if y'all didn't get something out of it. So thanks for the feedback. We also have a Facebook page that you can engage there. Obviously, you can engage on the website. We have an Instagram page. I guess you can engage there. People do that. We have a YouTube channel that has guys, I mean, hundreds of hours of information that's super, super useful. Every single one of these that we do gets reposted over there. We have way more.
If you miss this next week, you can go watch past episodes.
Yes, specific content about construction, different phases of construction, energy efficiency, what we do for foundations, all that stuff is housed over there. So we'd love for you to go consume that content. That's why it's there. That's why we put it there. And then we got a question here. What we got?
Tessie is still confused. Is it the Saul's alternate bathroom, freestanding tub in front of the double shower head, an option in the Barton Springs and the Wimberley? Not pre-designed. So the pre-designed option, the wet room option that we were talking about, is pre-designed for the Barton Springs, and not for the Wimberley yet, but coming soon. Well, coming eventually. I'm not going to use the word soon. Coming, but we can. Your design consultant can work it out. Was what we're saying. So it may not be pre-designed, but that is something on both of those plans that we could probably. If we have enough room that we can play with. We may need to add some square footage, but we can make it happen.
Yeah, Tessa, we've done that. The LaSalle shower that you're seeing has been posted in a number of plans, and so it's something that our design drafting team is very comfortable adjusting the plan to make it work. So
yes, and Christian would like you to keep on strumming.
Man, I'm gonna. It's work. I have a great appreciation for people that are guitar pickers, because I'm not.
And Denise is agreeing with Jason that this has all been very helpful, and the more they get into the process. So thank you, Denise.
Thank you very much. All right, folks. Thank y'all for watching. Engage with us on any of those platforms. Go to the design centers. Call us. We would love to hear from you guys. Love to answer your questions. We want you to be as familiar with this process as possible. It's the whole point of these. Transparency is important to us. You being comfortable is important to us. So that's why we're here. So reach out anytime you want to. We want to be sure that you and your family are as comfortable as possible for this lifetime-long decision. It's an important one, because we know you wouldn't. We're flattered that you even give us the opportunity. We don't take it lightly. So from my family to yours, thank you very much. And until next time, we genuinely soon hope to make you part of the Tilson family. We'll see y'all later.
Bye, everybody.